About 3 or 4 to be precise. Be your last chance today to go fuel yourself. Your next chance will be at 9:30 tomorrow morning with Rover. So listen about 30 past every hour between 9:30 and 5:30, and you get a shot at $1,000 every single time. If you listen on iHeartRadio from outside of Ohio, tell me where. Make sure that you are on our map. If you are representing as a bureau chief from your neck of the woods, Jason listens in Tallahassee, Alabama, not to be confused with Tallahassee, Florida, where we have a lot of bureau chiefs up there in the Panhandle. Tallahassee, Alabama. David listens in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. You ever been to Fond du Lac?
Fond du Lac.
Yeah, they've got that Billy Joel museum up there in Fond du Lac.
I think I've been there.
Okay.
Sounds familiar.
Shauna listens in Titusville, Florida. A lot of Floridians. Elizabeth is in Atlanta. Randy and Denise listen in Jackson. No, you find a non-Florida bureau chief. Brian and Kaylin. You don't meet a lot of Kaylins. Charleston, South Carolina is where you will find them. The Guardians took game 1 of 2. They broke their losing streak there. They beat the Twins. That was the first of 5 today. No, second of 5, I'm sorry. They lost hard last night. They beat them today 3-2. So 7-10 is the second of those 2 tonight here on MMS. We will get out of here at 6:30, and then your pregame will get underway in 7:10, the third of 5 against the Minnesota Twins. A lot of messages coming in on that talkback button, boy. A lot of messages coming in on the app.
Alan, this is Martin. Please tell me you caught Poundcake's mom doing an imitation of him. Man, I think that's the funniest thing I heard today. Later.
People in the audience are losing their goddamn
It was
minds.
so good.
We talked to Poundcake's mom right before the break, and she was recounting a conversation, and she imitated Poundcake.
She didn't do it properly.
Mom, nobody wants to see Derek Cup. We'll get the tickets.
I don't sound like that at all. She can't even do a proper imitation of me.
That is spot
Did your
on.
mom do that before I started doing that?
Of course she was.
Oh,
She's
God.
been doing that.
That's funny.
She uses it to scold me when I do something wrong. She's like, "Oh, I thought you didn't want to do that." I think she said, "Mom, I want to do that." She does it all the time.
Oh, that's great.
So good.
Not original.
You got to do a podcast episode.
No, I didn't know. I didn't know if. Obviously, I've never consulted with your mom. I didn't know if that was the standard imitation that anyone does of
It's the
you.
most accurate.
Right.
There is to it.
Yeah.
Mom, nobody wants to see Derek Cup. We'll get the tickets.
Okay. It is.
Holy cow. Yes, I did get it, Martin. Thank you. We give you $1,000 here, last one of the day. Last keyword to go fuel yourself. Listen closely and good luck.
The Buzzard wants you to go fuel yourself and score $1,000. Enter the nationwide keyword cash at WMMS.com. That's cash. Enter it now at WMMS.com. And good luck from Buzzard Radio.
Yo, Alan, you forgot the most important question to ask Poundcake's mom. You forgot to ask him about the matching T-shirts for the bus ride.
Ah, damn it. I forgot. Bye. I forgot to ask her about the I think I started on the T-shirts, and then because I forgot where we were going with it. I forgot to ask her about the T-shirt.
Call her back.
Oh, well, she's probably busy.
We'll make them. Mm-hmm. But if we made them and gave them to him, he would forget to pack them, or
Just give
I left it in the hotel.
It's fine.
Is it going to be okay?
I'm sure we'll work it.
What day do you get there? What day do you get there, Poundcake?
We leave the 7th. So
Mom, nobody wants to see Derek Cup. We'll get the tickets.
Nobody wants to see Derek Huff.
So wait,
What did you?
leave-
No, nobody wants to see Derek Huff. We'll get the tickets.
Like she was probably pressing him about. Did you get the tickets yet? Did you get the tickets yet?
Oh, and him saying
like, they're going to be sellouts.
But it's Vegas. Every show is packed.
No. This was originally.
This is the original.
Oh, here in Cleveland. Oh, I
situation.
see.
Which, it's one thing when you tell a story and you're like, she took the week off work and then hearing it from her, it's
So
heartbreaking.
sad. Yes.
You guys are awful.
You picture your mom sitting there in an amazing outfit, just in her like recliner or whatever, waiting, and no one comes.
Yeah, it's pretty sad, okay? It is pretty sad.
Oh my goodness. You are earning that name, Hurtful Brown. You are earning that name.
Nobody else.
Mom, nobody wants to see that cop. We'll get the stickers.
Oh, man. Forget Corey Roddick when Poundcake's out sometime. We got to have
Bring his
Teresa
mom,
sitting in
yeah.
here screening the calls. Somebody sent me the article. You got to send this to Poundcake. This is from 2019. Uranium ore that they discovered stored at the Grand Canyon Museum may or may not pose health risk.
Hopefully.
Good.
You're going to love that.
Karma.
For many years, 3 buckets full of uranium ore sat in a museum building at the south rim of the Grand Canyon National Park. Recently, the park's safety manager sent out an email to National Park Service employees to warn that people in the building had been exposed to radiation. But they said simply being near uranium ore is unlikely to result in an unsafe dose of radiation. But imagine that. They're like, yeah, we thought these were props. Turns out, A, they've been there for about 18 years. And secondly, I know one of the buckets was open, but let's try to figure this out. How was the uranium discovered after all that time? The teenage son of a Park Service employee had a Geiger counter in the collection room.
Oh,
And it started going off.
that's convenient.
Gesundheit.
Geiger counter?
A Geiger counter.
You know,
Now,
Robo-
don't. Pound cake?
What?
Do you know what a Geiger counter is?
Counts uranium. Uranium levels.
And in what units does it count uranium?
Giggies.
I'm sorry?
Giggies.
Giggies?
Gigs. I don't know.
Gigs of uranium.
Okay.
I don't
What
know.
is he, Quagmire?
Giggities.
They measure it in giggities?
It's a giggity counter.
Right. Maybe sunshine units? I mean, that's how they measure nuclear energy, right?
Newtons.
I have no idea.
Fake Newtons. A Geiger counter measures radiation.
Yeah, I've never heard of that in my life.
You've never heard of a Geiger counter
You're the
before
one that
in
wants
your
to
He wants to
life.
go to
Don't-
Chernobyl.
Yes, I've never, but I may have seen it in some of the shows, but they'll say this, let me pull up my trusty dusty Geiger counter. Like they don't.
Trusty, dusty Geiger counter. Right.
But it's been mentioned in many movies and TV shows over the
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, I've
and,
heard
and,
that
and the
before.
more frequently it pops like this would be high radiation levels. Right? If you get a couple of pops, like this would be your Chernobyl here.
How long could you stay, like say if you're not wearing any protective gear or anything like that, how long could you stay in radiation like that before it harms you? Matter, like we're talking minutes, hours, days, what?
Before it I mean, it depends on.
Like if there's a lot of radiation.
I'm no nuclear scientist, but I mean, there's like the half-life on things, right? Lasts for tens of thousands of years.
Depending on what it is.
Yeah.
Well, because I'm curious to know people who live.
Yeah, I don't think like a minute is gonna do a lot, but I don't think there's any amount of exposure that you want.
Sure, but I'm just saying, I know there's people that live around there that, well, maybe not now because, Russia invaded it, but like maybe on a dare, or they like drive up a drunken night and they're like, I dare you to run, through this, forever. How long do they now have radiation? Now do they have to, do they have cancer for the rest of their life? I don't know.
I feel like this is some sort of research that you would do if you wanted to go to Chernobyl instead of just asking us.
Well-
like you would have already done this.
I also want to go to Abu Dhabi.
He's
And
not the most proactive researcher.
Well, I mean, I just never thought it was a possibility, so I never even tried.
What is your primary? What is the attraction to you of going to Chernobyl?
Because I just feel like it's. I like history by itself, anyways. So
Because there's a lot of non-poisonous radiation history that you could probably.
I understand. I don't like
Yeah.
the fact that it's poisonous, but the fact that a city just stopped out of nowhere, and I guess that's
Go to Flint, Michigan.
Yeah, right.
I think that's the
Go
closest
to
thing.
Youngstown, man. You don't have to-
There you go. And you won't die of, plutonium poisoning.
I feel like that city is the closest thing we have to.
Now, we can't guarantee that you won't die. There's still that option.
just not from radiation.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
Maybe lead poisoning.
I feel like that city is the closest thing we have to what will Earth be like after humans are gone, and I find that interesting.
They have a whole documentary on that. It's like I think it's called Earth After Humans.
It is, but I want to
Life
see
after people.
Or Life After People. Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to see the city. Like I find that interesting. Like cars are in the middle of the street, homes are abandoned. They didn't take anything with them, so it's how people were living before they had to evacuate. And I find that really interesting. Yes, obviously I know it's dangerous, but it's something that not a lot of people get to see. Maybe that is my interest in it, the fact that not a lot of people get to see it. Same thing with Abu Dhabi. Someone like me who is black and gay, I want to go to Abu Dhabi and Dubai because people like me don't normally get to see that. Mm-hmm. So that makes it more interesting. Those cities play hard to get, and I want to go.
They play hard to get.
Think about how people would look at me if I was like, I had my passport and I'm putting it up to the guy at the counter, and he's like, "Where are you going?" Dubai. And he's like, "You sure about that?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Sure about that? Sure about that's why?
Yeah, I got my ticket right here. They're like, "Yeah, we know you got your ticket, but do you really want to go?"
Well, the town that Chernobyl is in, this Pripyat, Ukraine, is one of the most well-known abandoned places in the world.
See?
Because everything is literally frozen in time. The clocks are all frozen at the exact same time. The toys are all in the school. There's an amusement
Creepy,
park.
yeah.
Right.
That's cool.
That's where you want to go.
That's cool.
I understand.
Mom, nobody wants to see that. We'll get the tickets.
A customer said that high enough levels of radiation can kill you in seconds.
What?
If you were standing right there when Chernobyl melted down, but I mean, it depends on what, like some of these have a half-life of 30 years and other ones it's 24,000 years, so it depends. Not everybody at Chernobyl got radiation poisoning. A lot of people did.
I feel like there's still people that live there, too.
I don't know about that.
We talked about this, and we said that there were like squatters that like refused to leave, and they're like, "It's fine." It's the same people with the anti-maskers. Like, I'm not leaving.
I think at the time of Chernobyl, there were people who didn't want to leave, but I think those people ended up probably dying within a year or something. Alan, I'm 57, and I volunteer to go to Vegas with Poundcake and keep his mom occupied while he does whatever he wants. Now, here's a listener. You talk about sacrifice. Here's a listener willing to, I assume, his time, willing to give of his time and his treasure to keep your lovely mom occupied while you're out tasting the city.
She'll be plenty occupied.
Poundcake's got to watch the Chernobyl, the Lost Tapes on HBO. I don't think I've seen that. I think I just watched that fictionalized version they did about a year ago. It was really good.
Yeah.
With Jared Harris and Stellan Skarsgård was in that. Bananas have a detectable amount of radiation. Do you mean delectable?
I was watching Kyle Kinane's new special last night, and he does a bit about his dad and how his dad eats a banana the way Alan Cox eats a banana.
Peel it naked and eat it.
Yes.
Does he think his dad's a psycho?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All of
That seems to
humanity
be
does.
kind of the consensus, is that if you peel a banana fully and eat it. But why is that?
Because it's wet. We've been over this. Your hands get messy. It's not how it's supposed to be.
But
Nature gave it a handle.
I can immediately rinse my hands.
Nature gave you a handle.
But I can immediately rinse my hands.
I had a banana that was starting to go pretty brown. I was like, I'll just freeze this and I'll use it for a smoothie. And my dumbass forgot to take the peel off. So then I had a frozen banana with a peel on it.
doing?
I was like, I went to go make a smoothie the other day and I looked at it. I was like, oh, this is useless. Like, I should have done what Alan does and peeled it first.
Yeah.
So it did bite me in the ass that time.
The melted mass of fuel and concrete in the Chernobyl basement is still so radioactive that standing by it for an hour is lethal. It would kill a human instantly if inside the reactor room. Yeah. I mean, go to 3 Mile Island. I mean, that was not exactly the same in Pennsylvania, but that was like the American meltdown story, was 3 Mile Island.
Isn't there? I swear there. What about the Helltown? Maybe not Helltown, Ohio. Maybe it is in Pennsylvania. What you're speaking of, or what I'm thinking of, because there's people still living there as well, and it's so hot that the road is still steaming, like the road is still smoking.
Well, there's a town called Centralia, Pennsylvania. It's a mine fire that's been burning for 50 years. So there are a handful of people who still live there, but most of the people left. So it's mostly a ghost town, but it's still on fire. Because it was back in the day, it was a mining town, so there were a lot of people there.
How has it burned for 50 years?
Guess it hasn't been extinguished.
Why? Why they didn't care enough to extinguish it?
Well, something that's that deep, you can't, what are you going to do, pour water into it? I mean, there's not, Mike in Parma points out that Chernobyl Double Dare was one of the most controversial episodes in Nickelodeon history, so that's worth revisiting, too.
What would you do?
I got a break. If you want to text for something, 35192. You can listen wherever you are on the iHeartRadio app.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7.